A very good evening, my dear students. Welcome back to Sri Ramanuja Vidya Mandir. Here we are back with our communication skills class, and we are getting along with language building. Fine, students, we were getting along with language building. And in the language building, I've said there are techniques, the 7 tried and true language learning techniques for any skill level. I repeat, they are the 7 tried and true language learning techniques. And it's for any level. It's not for the learners, the beginners, or it's to improve of the middle. No, anybody, no matter whichever level you are in, when you're interested to develop a foreign language, here we have the techniques. And I was going along with the first technique. In the previous session, I was going along with the first technique, and it is find a program and stick with it. The first and basic thing, of course, before going for the techniques, I've given you an introduction of what actually the language learning is and what the methodology of language learning is. And then I've said in the first technique, it's find a program and stick with it. The first and foremost thing is there are so many programs. You can go with any sort of programs. I was explaining you. And in those programs, as I was telling you, you can see, okay, when you are learning, when you're trying to learn a new language, you have different purposes to learn a language. Okay, and for that you have the step-by-step learning system. Okay, and then I told yes. Then I was telling you, like, we have many methodologies. The many methodologies or the many programs are, I've already told you, students. We have audio CDs, we have computer programs, and they're sure to be one out of for you. There are so many things where you will be able to learn. Okay? And how could you learn all these things? So this is what I was telling you. One of the best place to find your language program is your local public library. So in today's class, what I'm telling you is, I was telling you in the class today, find a program and stick with it. First of all, we give you textbooks. I was explaining you this. And then we give you some working exercises. We give you some audio programs where you could listen to the language and you try to imitate it. Whatever the program could be, students. The first and foremost point what you have to bear in your brains are find a program and stick to it. So whichever program is convenient to you, you should try to find the suitable program for yourself, and remember, at any cost you have to stick to it. And in the previous class I was telling you there are many sources, many sources. That is, you have an internet. Browse your internet, or go to the nearest public library and you find a lot of books there. And then you can also ask the librarian, which is the book best suitable for me. I'm at this level, I'm at this stage, I want to do this, I want to do that. Now, this is what my target, my goal is. When you speak to them, they will definitely help you out. And when you browse and when you find a suitable book, then you can purchase. Instead of purchasing any book and then it could be of no use for you, sit, look into the various books and see which is best preferable for you. So that's what we had in the previous class, students. Now, Amazon and Google Books are additional resources for finding a language learning program that fits your needs. Amazon. Fine. We have Amazon and Google Books. Amazon and Google Books. You can just open them and you can go through them, and if you feel they are suitable, you can purchase them and you can go for the ebooks. So Amazon and Google Books are the ebooks and are additional resources for finding a language learning program that fits your needs. So you can just type of what particular thing, when you are not able to purchase a suitable book of your choice, you can just go up into an internet, type whatever level of book you want, automatically the exact specific book is in front of you. So this is another very, very advantageous sources what we have in the Amazon and Google Books. So Amazon and Google Books are additional resources for finding a language learning program that fits your needs. Search for your language along with keywords like learn, learning, or your proficiency level. I suppose you understand. Search for your language along with keywords. Say, for example, what do you say for learn or learning in that particular language? Search for your language. So whichever language you want. You are planning to learn English, you are planning to learn Japanese, you are planning to learn Chinese, whichever language, no doubt, all over the world, no matter how many languages are there, whichever language you are planning to learn. Search for your language along with keywords. What the keywords are, like for example, learn or learning, whatever the keywords are, or your proficiency level, or whichever vocabulary you want. You just type the vocabulary in your language and then you ask what does it mean in such and such language. So this is a very, very good source. You just don't need to have a particular book. It's an ocean, anything from anywhere. You just type and you're going to get even the sentence, even the word, even the paragraph, whatever you want. So search for your language along with keywords like learn, learning, or your proficiency level. The advantage of searching Amazon and Google Books is that they let you preview a book before deciding to buy it. Same. Even these, like what you have done with the librarian in a public library, this also does the same thing. Before purchasing a book, if you want a hard copy, you can happily go through of whatever level of books you want, and then it gives the names of the books of your level, of your goal, of your choice, and then you can just go into the market and you can purchase the book. It's such an easy method of learning. So remember, wherever or whatever you are doing, you have to first find the program. That's more important. So at what level you are, what kind of knowledge you wanted to develop. Are you in a beginner stage? Are you in a middle stage? Whichever level you are, you first have to find a program for it. And that a public library or Amazon or a Google book will help you to purchase a book. Once you find a program that you like, stick with it or you won't get the most out of it. So first and foremost thing is you have to go with a little workup with your selection of the program, and once when you get a suitable program for yourself, you have to stick to it, because after a lot of investigating, you have got the program and it is of your choice. Nobody has pushed it onto your brain. No, you have selected it. So because you have selected it and now it is your choice, then you have to stick to it. Make up your mind that at any cost I'm going to complete this. So this is a very, very important thing. So once you find a program that you like, stick with it or you won't get the most out of it. Especially in your most frustrated moments, you need a constant method to allow the natural learning process to take over. A very important point, students, especially in your most frustrated moments. See, when we are learning, though we have made the choice this is our choice, we have made for ourselves. And though we have made the choice, When you are starting, you will have a lot of hurdles. No doubt about it. But when these barriers are coming in front of you, don't get frustrated. Since we are beginners and we are not accustomed of it, when you are going for it, obviously you have problems. But don't go for it. Now, this is the choice I've made, and this will definitely lead to my destiny, my goal. I'm assured of it. So let me travel. Fine, you're fancied of riding a bicycle. You're very fancied of driving a car. Will it just come off to you like that the minute you sit on the seat? No. You take a little pressure. You take a little trouble to learn all this. But still, it doesn't appear to be troubled because you're interested in it. At any cost, do or die. No matter how many times I fall off my cycle, I still try to ride it because I'm fancied to ride a bicycle. That's my goal. That's my aim. In the same way, when you make a program, students, remember that has to take you to your destiny, make you reach your goal. So, especially in your most frustrated moments, when you are learning and when troubles appear, don't get frustrated. And even in your most frustrated troubles, you need a constant method to allow the natural learning process to take over. Even then, you need a constant method to allow the natural learning process to take over. So, even if you're troubled, you should see, or you need that constant method where it naturally will allow you to proceed. Don't pressure up yourself. Okay, don't get frustrated. Just try. Just think, this is my goal, this is my destiny, I have to reach my goal. So, that is the meaning of stick to it. Choose a program, stick to it. So, no matter whatever troubles comes, even though it is the choice of your program, even when you get any troubles, stick to it. Switching back and forth between different programs may deter your progress since they don't go at the same pace or follow the same pattern. Now you start. You have chosen a program, you've started, and then definitely you have some hindrances. And then you say, no, I can't do it. I thought I will do it, but this, I'm not foreseen, so I can't. You'll immediately start going for another because there are so many hundreds of programs for a learning system. Then you choose another program. And the same thing, you start, you proceed a bit, and then again you're frustrated, you come back. So what happens is when you're switching back and forth, when you're moving back and forth between different programs, little of this program, little of that program, little of that program. There was a saying, that sage, he was traveling in the forest just beside, a lake. But then the lake is very, very deep. And when he was looking into the lake, he's feeling damn thirsty. He doesn't know how to swim. He can't dive into the lake. And then he saw the ground is very dampy because it's just adjoining to the lake. He took a very strong stick and he started digging a hole. And then he's got frustrated. He's so tired. He just dug a little and then he said, I'm damn tired. I'm moreover very thirsty. He just took a little rest. He took a little pace. And then again, he started digging, but not the same hole. In another place, wherever he's sitting, he started digging. He thought, who's going to go and travel there? I'm under a tree, comfort. Let me sit and dig here. Then, after some time, he felt again tired. He said, all the mud is scattered around. I can't sleep here. Let me just sit beside the tree, or to the next tree. He sat there. And after some time, when he felt a bit energetic, he again started digging at that place. Like this, he did till the evening, but no hole gave him water. Same as such, students. You are going back and forth, switching back and forth with different programs. Which program is going to give you the fruit? No. Because you're not concentrating on one program, you're not sticking to it. So they may deter your progress since they don't go at the same pace or follow the same pattern. Because you're continuously shifting up. Rolling stone gathers no moss. As you keep on switching off, nothing is going to be helpful to you. Your time gets wasted. So in the starting only, select a best program and see that you are never getting away from it. You are sticking to it. That's the most important rule what you have to bear in your brains. The next point is label your stuff in the language. Now this is very, very important. Generally, whenever we go for learning a new language, students, we always select a program. Say, for example, we are going to some communicative skills or communicative program coachings. And then they tell us something. We nicely take the notes. And then we read it. The next day, again, you go and they conduct a test. You write the exam. You got very good marks. And then you're happy that you got it. But what is the ultimate goal of language? The ultimate goal of language is speaking. Every time I keep writing this, students. The ultimate goal of language is, the ultimate goal of language is okay. So the ultimate goal of language is speaking. LSRW. Let us see what this LSRW is. Right? L is listen. Speak, read, write. Now, what does a communication skill help you with? Remember, every communication skills help you only to speak. When you are going for a new language learning, you should be able to speak in that language. So, this is your ultimate goal. You are listening to the audios, you're reading from your texts, and you're writing your exams. You're listening to your audios. You're reading whatever the text they have given you, and then you're writing your exams. Probably you're scoring very good points here. But important is, no matter how much you will be working with this, your ultimate goal is this. It's to speak. And if you can't speak, there is of no use. So students, label your stuff in the language. So it's told that when you are going for a coaching or for some communication skills class, and when you're trying to learn and when you're trying to do all this, to listen, to read, and then to write, that will only help you to gain or score marks. All this will help you to score marks. But your goal is not to score marks, students. You're going to a coaching center only to speak a particular language. So for that, there is a very, very beautiful technique. What we have here is label your stuff in the language. So we'll see what it is. When you go to a coaching center or when you are learning some vocabulary, they tell you, for this item, they say in that language like this. For this sentence, you have to speak like this. So they will teach you. Now, your language is not, it should not be limited up to the coaching center. I repeat, your language should not be limited up to the coaching center. Once when you enter your home, when you can't travel abroad a country that speaks your target language, the next best thing is to pretend you're there. Fine. Here, now say for example, you wanted to speak some Japanese language. You know, you can't go to Japan and you can't learn it over there. So you try to take a book which teaches you Japanese language, or you go to a coaching center which is going to, for example, you wanted to do some course in Germany and you ought to have a German knowledge, you ought to speak German language. So then you go to the coaching center and then you start learning. But remember, there your task doesn't stop. To learn a language, you can't travel up to that country and then learn over there. In your country, you have to stay and learn. So when you can't travel abroad to a country that speaks your target language, the next best thing is to pretend you're there. So what you have to do is you have to pretend that you are no more in India, you are in Germany. You have to pretend. In Spain, it's not a pencil. In English, we say pencil, but in Spain, they don't say pencil, it's un lapis. In France, it's not a bread, it's pain. So, once when you are going with a language, remember, the minute you are learning that language, feel all the time around you are in that country. I suppose you understand what I say. When you wanted to learn a language, generally what we do is, we are very, very good. We understand the language, what the teacher teaches. We nicely will be able to read the language. We are able to write the exams nicely. And there at least little part you are able to participate and you are able to speak in that language to in your coaching center, and then it's over. You come back and then you feel very, very convenient to speak in your own language to the people around. No, that's not your target. You are targeting to learn a language. That means you should feel that whichever language you know is nowhere around you. Bear in your brain, students. You should feel that I'm no more in India, so I can't speak the Indian language here. Though you're in India, you should feel I'm in Spain, I'm in France, I'm in Germany. And so, people, if I speak in Hindi, nobody can understand what I say here. Nobody can understand because all the people around me are only able to understand German. So, when you feel like that, then language comes very, very quickly to you. You must make a situation for yourself in such a way that you should feel nobody around you knows whatever language you are speaking. Though they all know, everybody around you know Hindi and you know Hindi, but still you should feel in such a way that you don't know Hindi, and even though you know Hindi, you can't speak because around you nobody knows Hindi. You should feel, you should create the situation. See how beautiful? He says the next best thing is to pretend you are there in whichever place or whichever target of your language is. You should feel I'm in that country and I ought to speak that language only. I can't speak my language because nobody will understand. So you should feel in that way. So then it is going to be the best part to learn quickly your language. Thinking of everyday objects around you in the foreign language and putting labels on them by name will make you start to think more consistently in the language. See what a beautiful point, students. Think of everyday objects. Now you're in France and you have to speak French. And now you have to go to a market. You need a particular thing to purchase. So, when you are trying to do anything, you ought to go for those objects in that language only. Now, you want to get up, you want to take a brush. You want to take the toothpaste. You want to brush your teeth. You want a towel. You want little water to wash your face. And you want a cup of tea. Every incident, every point should be taught in that language, not in the convenient language or your mother tongue. And to make you more better, instead of saying, chini or panchadara, you don't know what to say for it. Instead of saying bellam, good, you know what they say for it. What you do is, take your dictionary, in that language, what do they say for it? Make labels and stick on it. So whenever you're looking into it, yes, this is not called panchadara, this is not called chini, this is called sugar. This is called tea. This is called cumin seeds. This is called saffron. So start it from your kitchen, start it from your study desk, start it from your house. Okay, for everything you try to label. This is very, very important. Think of everyday objects, whatever objects you're using in your house. Label around you in whatever, think of your everyday objects around you in the foreign language and put labels on them. So whichever language you wanted to develop, remember students, you have to label those in your language. In whichever language you wanted to develop, in that language you have to label them. Okay, labels on them by name will make you start to think more consistently in the language. So what happens is whenever you look into them, after some time you forget what you say in your language because you got so accustomed to the foreign language. You forget. And then you say, I have to add a little jaggery in this. No, little, spices to it, little seasonings to it. So when you are going along speaking like this, when you're labeling all your daily objects, in that particular language, then language becomes very, very easy. So this is the most important second point, where it is stick labels. For every object in your house, forget your local language and stick all the foreign language, whichever foreign language you are wanting to learn, stick on it. So whenever you see the object, your eyes will go on to the name of the object, and then you start speaking automatically in that language only. That's a very, very good technique. As much as possible, put post-it notes or sticky labels. Post-it notes. What does it work for, or what do you do it, or when you wanted to use some notes, put it on your desk regularly, what kind of language you're using or whom you wanted to speak to. Now today you went to a friend and you started speaking, try to speak in English, you are not able to say some sentences, immediately come home and make some post notes with it on a small paper and stick in front of you on the desk, on the table, or just in front of you onto the wall. So whenever you're sitting at your desk, when you're looking into it, you get it. So next time you don't have a trouble with it, then pull it off and another post note. So this is very, very important. As much as possible, put post-it notes or sticky labels on items around you to help you learn their names in your target language. So whichever language you are having, your target language, in that, make sticky labels. Make some small sticky labels. You just stick. You pull off the label. Take another sticky notes you have now. Take another label. Put it on it. It's very, very simple. You can even buy yourself a pre-made vocabulary sticker set. This is very important. A pre-made vocabulary sticker set. You can have, and whatever words are there, you can take that item and you can stick to it, which gives you fun, color-coded labels for most common items in your home and office. If you don't have those articles in your house, buy a nice picture book or buy a nice vocabulary sticker set, and then you stick. The picture is there and the name is beneath it. So whenever you're looking into the picture, yes, this is this. If the objects are, whatever objects are there in your house, you have understood it. You have known the names in your foreign language or your target language. Now take the pre-made vocabulary sticker set and happily with the picture, the name you stick there. So that is really going to help you to go more and more with the foreign language, which gives you fun, color-coded labels, different colors when you're coding it, for the most common items in your home and office. So in that vocabulary set, color some pictures which is most commonly you're using. So mostly you will be looking into those pictures and you're learning them first. And whenever some trouble comes to you and when you are wanting to learn, yeah, this is what I wanted to learn, what do you say for this? Then you can look into the other vocabulary stickers. So in this way, it will really help you to learn your language quickly. When you can't label things, like when you're in public, try to think of the word in a language. Now when you're in a public, of course, when you're in the house or when you're in the room, you're using all these things. Now when you are not there, Then try to think of the word in a language. Now, whichever word you have, say for example, in your language, you know what the word is, but in the foreign language or your target language, you don't know it. Write off that word. Somewhere immediately from your pocket, take a piece of paper and in your language, write the word and push it inside. So as soon as you come home, you can work with it. You can understand what it is. So when you can't label things, like when you're in a public, try to think of the word in the language. If you don't know it, jot down a note and look it up later. So when you come home, you will be able to look it up. Be curious about the world around you and how it would be talked about if you were in another country. Be curious. Be curious. At any cost, I wanted to learn this language. It's my target. I wanted to improve it more and more. Even I'm able to speak, I want to learn something more and more. So when you are curious, when you're very, very eager about things around you, whichever thing you look around you, you know what you say in your language, immediately write it down. And then after coming home, work with it. Then you will be able to be very, very free even when you're going to another country, because you know that country's language. So that's all we had for this class. And in the next class, we will be going along with flashcards constantly. Thank you, students. Have a nice time.